Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 22 of Rannoch, our vanilla Boreal build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I've just been enjoying the sprawl as one of our very busy metro trains passes into the tech hub over here. Lots of fun last time out, really enjoyed using these unique buildings to really draw a bit of attention into the plaza. However, today's episode, the city demands industry, and we have a bit of an industrial space filler. There's some awkward spaces developed around the map, notably over here, and our garbage processing has also fallen behind a little bit as well. So we need to add some new recycling facilities, and we also have some gold in them hills over here. So I'd like to set up a small ore mine. I don't want the massive teeth excavators here, it's not the vibe. We will use those eventually, but just a bit of kind of local ore processing and extraction, not kind of a massive industrial pit mine really. So that's what we'll start with today, and then hopefully we'll also bring in some expanded frames over here to keep climbing that population up. Nearly 11,000 needed now to get to 25 tiles, which will be an awful lot of fun. So first of all, let's jump in over here, a little pocket to fill, and we're going to satisfy some industrial demand with this. So let's paint out a little area, and we'll give this industrial evolution, as it's always my preferred industrial specialization. And we'll grab ourselves a little industrial area here. And I think where we want to come out, we could do it here, I suppose. I think I'm just going to reconfigure exactly how this highway road flows. So we'll upgrade that one, and then let's grab our industrial road again. And I want this to come in kind of along this tree line that runs next to the baseball campus. We'll have that there. And then I did want this road bringing back in as well. Something like that. And then we can have this road become the highway again. Super. With our industrial roads, I would like our new recycling centres to be aligned next to this road, so you're kind of driving past city services as you come in. That's going to push us still into the yellow, so let's do 2, possibly 3. I think maybe 3. You can kind of treat it as one continuous building then, can't you? And then let's get some industrial zones mapped out here. With the industrial evolution stuff, I think we're going to run them in rows of 2, so we get lots of repeated warehouses. So it was a nicer vibe to use these things in. Won't be afraid of the occasional larger block, but while we're here, I just want to do the 2x2 stuff. Or 2x4 rather, I suppose. And that'll be okay for right now, and then let's go ahead and fill in some larger blocks around the edges. And this can be some different shapes and sizes as well. Just kind of a little off of the highway industrial estate, if you like. Could even afford a slip lane here as well, but so close to a major interchange, I think it should be okay. But that'll grow up over time. We could also do the same thing across the other highway as well. Wouldn't be averse to a bit more industry out here. Although I don't want to put too much pressure on the road network. So wondering in terms of extra garbage processing, of course we are using the Sunset Harbour stuff. Now we do have one over here. But this is pretty much at max capacity now. It's just struggling with its garbage reserves. So I think maybe we could actually place another one of these orientated against our major train line here, which will really service this whole area of the city with garbage collection. So where do we want this one? We could have it just out of here. Now orientation again is going to be super important. So let's have a little look at the building. It does just kind of fit and sit there, doesn't it, next to the National Express Road. I do like these things, they're very industrial. I just don't know if this is too close to the zoo, maybe. I guess you do get industry quite close to things like that, don't you? I also do like the aesthetic of the towers over there as well. But no, I don't think that's the right place for it. I think we'll just do some more industrial evolution over here. Just kind of smaller pockets of it there. Let's have that, and I think we even switched down to dirt road for this. Kind of a local industrial estate where you'll find scrap yards and a car repair shops and whatnot. Just a nice way to fill out some of that awkward space that looks around. Bring this in, fill it all together. And again, kind of don't want big continuous zones here, more isolated local industrial business that sits through here. And we'll come back in the detail time lapse with some light vanilla prop work. I think will be welcome here. Get some sat here as well, kind of backing onto that national road too. That's filled out tremendously well, so we'll go ahead and bulk zone in the next one. And let's also get a pathway running up through here as well, so people can move around. We could have a pedestrian road, or a pedestrian pathway crossing over here actually to get back into the highway. I wouldn't be enormously against that. Maybe let's just trim this road back a touch. And then we'll use this pathway to achieve that. Let's go ahead and get those zonings back in. I think probably dirt is most appropriate. So let's do smaller elevation. Bring it up here. And I think I'll just run it parallel with this road here. So if we can align that, do something like this. How are we feeling about that? I think the wooden bridge is actually the one I want to run with. We'll have this one come down and then just connect into there. And then that can just go straight across. And that might provide a little way for workers to get back into. And we'll also bring it out this side and into that one so they connect into all the different layers. And then we'll give the classic Rannoch forest around the border here as well. And I'll shelter these off a little bit. All around these main roads. Super. So I want to let them level up. I want to get rid of the kind of older red brick factories and just have more things like this. Little industrial warehouse units, smaller manufacturing businesses, things like that. Nothing too serious. But it has brought our industrial demand down, which is tremendous. So let's carry on with that industrial expansion over here. So I just want this to be a little local, almost like stone quarrying rather than actual precious metals mining. So we'll just have a little winding dirt road that comes off of our arterial. Let's come ahead and grab some stone mining. We'll do our ore industry. Now where do we want you to lie? I think just on the way into the quarry will be fine. We get lots of forest as well here, so it's kind of hidden out into the what will be Rannoch country, I guess. We'll kind of fall away from the metropolis here as we move into the hilly part of the map. We'll also push this out as well. Basically, I don't want to go too far into the hills, but I guess it makes sense just to cover whatever we can mine right here. And then let's get some very basic processing down. We'll do a little bit more up here. And then let's grab those small ore mines. We'll do 1 and 2. And then let's bring a little road away from them. And then we'll do 2 more here. So they should begin extracting. Now again, to keep satisfying that industrial demand and please the city, let's also paint out a regular district. We'll give this the vanilla specialization. And then we'll also bring in some smaller 2x2 zones across here as well. Just so we get some extra prop work knocking around here. I like how the terrain's actually kind of popping the next mine up there. And then in terms of other buildings, we have basically nothing unlocked at this point. So we'll do... I think we'll keep all our mining here, and then why don't we bring off a little separate road, maybe in and around the main building, where we can place things like the ore grinding mill. Because we do want metal in the city, we have the refinery down, which requires the resource. So we'll have 2 of those behind the main building. That'll kind of expand the footprint of it, won't it? You will eventually receive your resources, gents, don't worry about that. And then we'll bring this one down into the building, and then we can let this slowly level up, which given industrial demands shouldn't take too long. So we do actually already have metal storage at the refinery. Now as part of that build we also set up the quarry down here, which is producing, just not an enormous amount. Is there a policy we can do here? Increase production outputs, worker safety is not massively important. And then we can increase storage capacity. Storage capacity isn't really an issue, it's mainly just the production. So hopefully now with this second metal production, that refinery should start to stay a little bit more well stocked. This is exactly what I want here. These kind of vanilla buildings really complement Industries DLC really nicely. I'd be happy with that one as well, I think. Cool. How much more resource do we actually have to extract here? Let's have a look. I think with these ones we'll save the underground mines for these hills. It looks like we're actually kind of tunneling into the earth. But until that point, this has a little bit of ways to level up yet. It does have the worker capacity, and that will slowly tick away at that industrial demand. But jumping across to another space, a very sporadic episode today, and we do have some space to fill. I imagine this location here is what's going to satisfy most of our residential demand up to 25 tiles. Now, ideally in terms of road hierarchy, I would love a road doing this, essentially. But right now, our networks are stopping us from doing that. So I think what we will do is elevate the train line, bring the BRT down to the ground where it will intersect with the road, and then resume its elevation as it comes back into the zoo. So let's do a little bit of a road time lapse here, and then we can start expanding some residential to meet these new worker demands. So this is wonderful news. This configuration is much better now and also allows people to, again, not put as much pressure on this roundabout down here as these roads begin to intersect with one another. And I'm pretty happy with the network configuration too. Lots of layers. Very nice. However, the trams and the trolley buses now need to converge over here. So I was under the impression that these two lines couldn't intersect anymore, but apparently there has been an update to allow that. I don't remember said update, but yes, there you go. They will actually meet now. They never used to be able to, did they? But either way, let's talk about a tram trolley bus interchange that's also going to meet with the metro here, which would be something nice to build a neighbourhood around. So let's grab our trams. Now, I want these to come off the main road and kind of come like this. Something like that, I think, is what I'm after. Now, I guess we only need this to be one way, so our trams will come down here. Stop right by the metro, and then we also want this here to be tram road, which we'll use 4-lane tram road to do that, and then they can then come back up here to join with the tram system. So let's reinstate that loop before we lose it. Can you just come over here? We probably don't need these bridge stops then anymore, so we'll stop with the metro there. Now the trolley buses, I guess we can just have them start. Where do we want this? I guess on the other side of the road would probably be quite nice. Maybe get a couple of uni buildings around here as well while we're going to make a bit of a song and dance out of this intersection. Let's have a little look. So there's no trolley bus only road. I guess we can use the trolley bus pedestrian road though to achieve a pretty similar thing. This is a 12 unit measurement and then this is 7. So that's 7 there. So let's do 7 and then 12. Let's do no guideline here as well. And then we'll just do that. Let's also do the curve tool. What was our curve here? Can we check this? It's 8 units. So we'll just do that side. And then we're going to want that trolley bus road. There is no small 4-lane road. So I guess we can just do this 2-lane one here. And then this road coming back down from the trams will allow the trolley buses to turn around. That should be a really cool configuration. We'll definitely build a transport hub here. Let's also get the trolley buses arriving. Which are currently turning off into the neighbourhood as a bit of a turnaround, but we can keep that, I think, because I do quite like the design. Yeah, so have them come in there, turn around, meet with the trams and the metro. And then in here, I guess, yeah, you can still come off this way. Go in there, and then stop here now. They come down the street, they stop again with the metro, so metro and trolley bus is constantly converging down this street now, which is tremendous to see. Let's see if we can get some airport aprons in. Go ahead and grab our favourite assets in the game. Best thing that was ever added to Vanilla CS. There we go. And I guess we'll also do the same here as well for a little bit of plaza detailing. And probably over here as well, I think. Fantastic. So let's have a look at some unique buildings. I think while we're in Suburbia here, I think a bit of a shopping centre, like a supermarket, would be quite nice. Now, we've yet to use King Leno's wonderful large grocery store, which I think would be a tremendous compliment to the corner, wouldn't it? But as it's kind of a big shopping centre, I think it's going to make sense to have some car parking out the front, isn't it? So let's grab our non-parkable roads with the wide sidewalks, and I really want to configure this against the road, so we could do it as a frontage, which would actually be very nice indeed. I already immediately love that. We'll have the connection into the supermarket there. I can come around. Now this building does have some delivery detailing on it, so I'd love to expand that. So actually just leave that there for a second. Let's get our car parking in first. We'll use the larger ones. So I do want them configured facing this direction, so let's do 2 here. And then I guess 2 there, so let's get this out of the way for right now. In this road up, and we'll also connect it into this junction over here too. And then let's do that there. Fantastic. It's slightly actually not where I want it to be, but it's okay. And then we'll need to bring the roads around the side here to hold the actual supermarket itself, which will go there, I think. Really want that signage exposed to the street corner here. I think that's going to be quite an important aesthetic of the build, isn't it? Anyone getting off the trams just yet? A few people starting to come down. Trolley buses, of course, this trolley bus now runs all the way back past the university, doesn't it? Over here. And then down into the transport hub. But it should be a ton of convergence. Hopefully see it get very busy as the episode goes on anyway. Tremendous. This is going very well. And then like I mentioned, I definitely want to bring in those details around the back. So we've got our delivery points here. Again, using the aprons. Especially where we have those delivery garages. Not all the way around, I don't want to do tons of concrete. I think just there. And then we can bring in our vanilla details with shipping containers and whatnot. That's a very strange shape there, isn't it? Can we square that off? I suppose that's a little bit better, isn't it? Cool. So we'll have a unique building here. I don't think I want any of the other ones because I do want to save some of the larger malls for the downtown spaces. Although we do have... I'm just going to place the open air mall and just see how I feel about that. I think turning this into a bit of a mall space might actually be quite welcome. I think it's possibly best served the other side of the road, isn't it? On the pedestrian street. We'll need to bring a service area for that. So I don't think we have one nearby here, do we? Nearest pedestrian area is the stadium. Which we could quite easily bring that over actually, so I think we will. We'll just share that service point. There's no need to create a new one. There we go. We'll have that there. And then just sever that connection back. Yeah, so we can have some really nice shopping districts around here, I think. And then I might also be tempted as well to bring in more pedestrian roads around this little hole in the ground that the metro is using. So why don't we grab some grassline bluestone. Oh, will you not fit there? You will, but I think the angle snap isn't overly happy, is it? There we go. It's very strange. Sweet spot for some reason. And then we'll have this one come out. That can connect in. And then we'll use that to kind of demarcate the build. Now let's go ahead and start getting some more residentials growing as well. I want to make good progress toward that last milestone today. There we go, because hopefully next episode we can start work on the arterial bundle project, which I know a lot of us have been waiting for. So yeah, I'm really happy for Brooklyn and Queens to continue down this way. Although, probably don't want any zoning on this road, so let's use the zoning tool to get rid of that. And that as well. And then we can prioritise having the buildings on the side streets. Something to that extent, I think. Wonderful. And then we'll also bring this road through here as well. We will lose the occasional house, but that's okay. We'll connect that one in there, and then have all this residential grow up here. Trim a few of the trees back as well. Wonderful. Super. So how's our mine getting on? Shouldn't be too far away now, I don't think. It's just waiting for its resource extraction, isn't it? Which is very nearly there. So we'll let that level up. Let some people gather around this new area and the houses grow up. And then we'll carry on expanding that ore mine and providing it workers as well. Wonderbar, everyone. We have hit our level 2 ore mine, which obviously gives us the industrial steel plant, which is one of my favourite assets, but we'll save that for the major container port, wherever that's going to go. We were thinking, by the way, actually speaking of that, it's probably going to go here, I think, to sit opposite the eventual skyline. I think will be a lot of fun, but that's a long way away yet. So let's get this thing to level 2. As part of that milestone, or the level of the ore mine we just hit, we did get the underground ore mine, so I'd like to bring this one in to run up to this little pocket up here. Now it's likely we'll have a few little roads snaking around here. Trying my best to follow the flow where those more intense pockets of ore are. So let's do the underground mine, if we can find it. There we go, let's have one there. And that's pretty appropriate, isn't it? Kind of going down up into the earth there. And then we'll also do the same over here as well. Something like that. It does carve out the footprint, but we can just ease that out, I think. Do like a little bit of terrain tearing in these ore mines, but just something a bit more natural looking, I think. We can also delete that. Actually, we just delete both those roads. Yeah, I think that's better, isn't it? Even delete that one too. Yeah, because they'll remain connected. And then just ease out the footprint of the building a little bit. Something like that. And then just soften it back around. Cool. So we'll have our 2 underground mines up there. That does nearly give us the capacity for workers. What else did we get here? We also got glass manufacturing, which I think is the highest we'll go. I think the rotary kilns and the fiberglass plants are too much chunky industry for what I'm trying to create here. So let's add probably just one fiberglass plant in, I think. And we can have that near enough part of this facility there. Yeah, that should be okay. How does that give us for worker spaces? 365 capacity. We need 350 to get to 3. Which is okay. These guys do want some storage, so I think we'll use the storage buildings to kind of indicate to people as they drive past this area along the arterial that you can just see maybe the occasional. They are quite big, aren't they? Okay, I think what we will do is place them on the arterial initially, but then I want to use a road behind them to just leave a couple tiles distance. So we have something like this. So as you drive down this road, you will notice that there are a couple of large piles of ore that just kind of indicate what it is you might be driving past here. And I think that's pretty much the extent of what I want this build to go to. I don't want it to get too big, too gnarly. Be happy with that. I did also get the worker barracks, which are nice assets, but we'll probably put them down a little bit later, I think. What else is it going to unlock? All storage is 4. Large underground mines are level 4 as well. We'll have the medium animated crane at level 3. Which I think is probably the last asset we'll use. How do we shape up here for more ore? Yeah, maybe one animated crane in this larger pocket. And then we'll probably leave it at that, I think. So let's do some smaller little industrial zones here for that vanilla ore mining. But isn't it crazy? Like, this is what we had before Industries DLC. This was the extent of your specialized industry. Don't know how we managed with just that. But it'll work regardless. And I think between here and the road, we'll probably run the industrial ore fence actually. I was thinking maybe a tree line, but I think in an effort to keep saving the nodes, I will try avoid using fencing everywhere. But I think this here against the arterial definitely is a place where fencing is going to be welcome. So we'll run that up there. And then we'll do some relatively dense tree lines between. Fantastic. And that can run back up to join with the forest that now shelters the nuclear plant. Just across the forest there. Hopefully as they start piling up, you're driving past, you can see Just, you know, not over the top industrial infrastructure. And then you've got some piles of ore here as well. I think that'd be quite nice. In terms of a tram stop, we do have one here, I think, don't we, for the zoo already? But I think for workers here, that's going to be a useful connection. Yeah, so there's metro and trams already serving the industry, so they shouldn't need anything else there. That should keep them going. Let's carry on our residential expansion this way. And we'll bring these up to probably this road here, if we can, if the grid's going to line up. Very nearly, but we can deal with it a little bit broken at the end. I'd like to get some park space in here as well to transition back from the transit hub into the residential area. So we could have one of these little pond numbers. Now if we were to draw a road down here, I think we can do that. Now this is an asset that does have snappable pathways, doesn't it? Although they are very particular about where they'll snap to. So that one will work. I think that's probably the only one we need actually. And then we can get more of that high density grown in here. I think with this we are getting quite blocky over here, but Brooklyn and Queens does work quite nicely. We could do more row housing developments, but I think we'll stick with the alternated 4x4 tower blocks. Because I do want it to be fairly dense around here. Let's maybe save a space for a pathway to cut through the estate here. And we could even develop another BRT stop here for this neighbourhood actually. I think it'd be appropriate. So those will grow in. Let's also add another road essentially off of this one. We could actually just take that straight up to the BRT line. And then where do we want to have that bus road? So we'll use the bus only here. This section right by the road could actually be quite decent. Or we could actually just change this entire section to be bus road as well, couldn't we? Something like that. Yeah, I think we'll do that way instead. And then let's maximize our zonable space here. With just some roads cutting into these sorts of spaces. And probably over here as well. Let's actually do it from this side instead. Super. So let's get those buses stopping here as well. This should end up being an incredibly busy little public transport neighbourhood here. Wonderful. And then we did want that pathway cutting through so they can get from the trams and trolley buses and metro relatively easily just by walking up and through here, joining up with the bus road. And it's probably going to make sense to have one connecting on here as well, isn't it? Something like that. I've really enjoyed playing with this little bus BRT system. It's kind of a bit of a mini experiment at the end of Nubio, wasn't it, with the elevated tram, but the buses have worked tremendously well. It's a nice kind of red line cutting through the middle of the city, isn't it? Anyone want to get off here? Yeah, there's a few. I think it's worth having a pathway out this way as well, but it's kind of overgrown no man's land around there, isn't it? So we'll probably leave it. And these houses are growing as well now, of course. Right, in terms of services, how would we do for healthcare? We very nearly need another one. Do we have a fire station over here? There's one just down the road and then the nuclear plant, so that should be okay. And as with the police stations as well, so that should be good. Education, we do need an elementary school and very nearly a high school as well, so I reckon we can form a high school campus around here. But let's get the med clinic in. So which one do we want to use? Any content creator ones? Do have the new Mountain Village one, of course, which might be quite nice. How about, I mean, if it's going to sit and fit there, is that what we like? Healthcare service there. Maybe facing in toward stop instead, actually. Yeah, I think we can get away with that. I like that there's no parking on the front of this. It makes it very usable on pedestrian roads, which is a lot of fun. Cool, yeah, so we'll have our healthcare there then. That's going to help increase the land value. And then before we move into a detail and time lapse, let's bring in a school. Now we don't have... We do have the Korean elementary, which I think we're yet to use in the city, aren't we? Oh, that does sit and fit there, doesn't it? And it is red brick, so it's actually going to work rather nicely with the Brooklyn and Queens, isn't it? Okay, I think we'll have that one there then. And then let's make some space for a larger high school campus, maybe to sit off of the main road. We could use the Africa in miniature one, which is a really nice corner asset. Beyond that, it's going to be one of the vanilla ones. Yeah, I think we'll do the Africa one. Let's have this here. And very nice corner unit, although I think maybe more toward the tram road might also be quite nice there. And do we have room for a sports pitch in here, I wonder? Can we grab... Oh, is that going to sit and fit? It looks like it will. Do we want to do American football? Or... Oh, American football does perfectly sit and fit. Well, if they score a goal here, the ball is going to go off over into the pond. But I think it'd be quite a nice way to transition back toward the natural boundary of the river there, which we're keeping relatively heavily forested. And that'll boop our education demands up a little bit. Wonderful. It's so close to needing another campus as well. Can't wait. Cannot wait for another campus. Every build is just me waiting to do another campus, really. It's all just filler. It's all just filler to the next campus. That's how it works. Super, but this feels like a good place for a detailing time lapse. Going to expand this area out here. We've got some low density frames to carry on. We do have vanilla housing here, so I might actually switch this to be European Suburbia, I think. I'm not an enormous fan of the vanilla housing, so I'll probably switch it to European Suburbia as it passes around this way. Connecting road frames that are waiting to be expanded, bring in the forest, do some industrial detailing around our small kind of local stone extraction, and then also tidy up whatever happened. Over here, bring in some props to expand what's already on the buildings, tree linings, fencing to just tie together this little industrial estate. How's this pathway doing as well? Yeah, there's a few taking it, there's a few. Which is good, that'll stop people from having to drive over the highway if they can walk over there. But that'll be quite nice. So either way, let's settle in, grab yourself some snacks and drinks and detail up our awkward space filler episode. And then we'll be right back. guys, let's have a little review around here, shall we? So a little off-highway industrial stint that's fully grown up now did change the way the road were configured around here because it's getting a little bit too bottlenecky down this way, so just switch the entrance onto this junction, which seems to be helping it. And then around the buildings here, we just have some expanded prop work, things that are already present on the zoned assets, containers, plain timber, planks, spools of wire, etc. Which really just helps fill out some space against our rural industrial area. There is also a sewage plant over here as well now, since we did dip into the orange slightly, so we have included that as part of this estate. Further down the road we have also zoned in some more industry, which I am waiting to upgrade to become these more kind of discrete warehouses rather than the big chimney stack brick factories, just to help keep satisfying that demand. And heading into our area, we fully detailed up another BRT stop here, which is getting some wonderful use. Parks tucked into the awkward spaces, a little bit of commercial, and parking nearby toward the school as well, which has all turned out tremendously nicely. And then through here, coming down into the transport hub, which has become one of my favourite areas of the city. I'm a huge fan of this. Love the way the roads are configured with the trams and the trolley buses. With plenty of people making use of them all. It's incredibly busy. They're all gathering in one particular spot as well. I wonder what's going on outside 901 where, who knows, perhaps Ed Sheeran is busking or something. Over here, lots of plaza detailing, bollards against the road, seating, covers, fountains, a couple of benches behind the healthcare surgery over here as well. So grateful for a smaller little healthcare unit from that mountain village pack. Very welcome. Commercial down this street with office space as well, and look how many people are cycling down here. And now I also extended the cycling infrastructure with the trolley buses down this road as well, so tons of people now cycling up and down here. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? It's just so many cyclists. Absolutely love it. Cycling's so powerful. It's just a way to support those traffic systems, isn't it? Really like how all this came out. So this comes down here back to that plaza we looked at earlier, dropped in some shopping mall zoning alongside the actual mall unique itself, which has partnered very nicely with all these buildings around here. And then that wider European suburbia has now grown out. In terms of population, we are rapidly approaching 60k. Unlikely before the start of next episode I will let it reach 60k, because you can see there's still some spaces here to be zoned in. It is all still building up. Likewise over here as well with that extended road frame. And then we can start 25 tiles next episode, which will be very exciting. It's going to allow us to do a lot of work with the river deltas over here. I want to totally reform this highway as well, and we'll do the big arterial bundle, which is incredibly exciting, and maybe an airport on this shoreline as well. I think we had actually a comment very early on in the series that this highway occupies some really expensive kind of real estate right up against the water here. So we'll definitely relocate it. I want to keep the split here, but we'll probably maybe take it along the train line actually, and then allow it to meet up with the highway here. So future road infrastructure projects to come regardless. Heading back toward today's build. Love how the shopping mall sits on the corner here. We've also done some more detail around the back of this too, with props, things you would expect around the back of a supermarket and whatnot. And then across the street, more detail with the bollards, plazas and promenades props, eateries next to the high school, and then backs onto the two park areas over here, which all turned out really nicely. Trams, trolley buses and metro all getting really good ridership with that big cycling corridor putting right through the middle. The school is burning down. You'll have to ignore that. But I really like this. Real cool street corner, nice and busy, lots of cycling. And a great traffic flow through here as well. Public transport all helping to support that. And then there's more office spaces littered around in the corners as well, helping to try satiate that relentless industrial demand. So the city probably is in need of another major industrial area. We haven't done farming yet, although there's not an enormous amount of fertile land on the map. It's mainly isolated to the river deltas, so probably over here, but that's 81 tile building. If not, we might be able to get that in 25 tiles. But more industry is needed regardless. And then down this way, we do have more of those frames growing out. You can see where we've zoned here. It will eventually grow in as that demand pops up. And all that expanse should allow us to open up 25 tiles. I also love we're starting to see the skyline rise here as well now. due to those high density additions we've made over the last 2 or 3 episodes over that side of the city. And then over toward our little stone mine here, we just have the industry placed at the start, and then dropped in some more zoning and lots of rock work, just to kind of make it look as though they are, you know, extracting from an ore deposit or some kind of outcrop here. It really helps settle these assets in. But a really nice, tasteful, small bit of industry that fills the hillside here, and does allow us to produce a little bit more ore for those main factories that require it. But otherwise, I will shut up and leave it there. A massive shout out to all the patrons that support the channel, with a roll call to our wonderful golden eggs, Andrew Perez and O'Hay Casino. If you'd like to get involved in that, links are down below to Patreon and Instant Gaming, where there's a lot more egg content to be had should you so wish. You can also gain early access to the next episode of Rannoch over on Patreon as well. Bit of a mismatch episode today: zoned industry, industries DLC, and a big suburban expansion with a transport hub thrown in for good measure. I hope you have managed to enjoy it. We've been all over the town today. But Rannoch is really growing up, and as I mentioned, those 25 tile spaces will probably happen next episode now. I'll just leave the city to run and let it tick up to 60,000 population, which is only 3,000 away now. The houses that are yet to zone in should bring that final bit of population in. And I'm not sure if we'll go do the downtown, or if we'll head to work around the river deltas with the arterial bundle. I'll decide at some point in the week. But either way, please do enjoy some cinematics of today's additions into Rannoch, but I'll shut up and leave it there. And thank you all so much indeed for watching. As always, enjoy the rest of your day.